In this video, I'm going to be modeling for you using the number line strategy for addition. So in this strategy, you really use what you already know about counting on and also about place value. So I'm going to go ahead and get started modeling it for you. So here's my equation, 191 plus 243. Now I could start my number line at 0 and do 191 and then 243 more. But I'm going to use what we know about counting on to actually start at 191. Or I could also start at 243, which since that is a little bit of a greater number, I just need to keep in mind that I've technically already then hopped 191 starting at 0. So it's just being a little bit more efficient. So now I'm going to hop 243. Hopping 243 little hops would take a really long time, would get crowded, and isn't efficient. And we're going to use, as third graders, what we know about place value anyways, so we can use that to help us. So I'm first going to hop by 100. So I have 200 here, so I'm going to hop 100, 200. And then I like to label it so that I know I haven't missed any of my hops. And then I'm going to say down here where I've landed. So 191. Well, my hundreds place is going to change, so now I'm at 291. And then 100 more is going to be 391. So here we are, hopped our hundreds, 200s. So now I'm going to hop my tens, 4 of them, 4 tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40. And then I'm going to label my 4 tens, and then I'm going to down here show where I landed again, so I don't have to go back and figure it out later. I can just do it in the moment. So here my tens place is going to change, and this can be a tricky spot. 391 would make 10 tens, which makes a new 100. So you have to be very careful when you're crossing over new tens and new hundreds. So now I have 401, and then 10 more would be 411, 421, and 431. So now I've hopped 40, so now I need to hop 3 ones. So there is 1, 2, 3. So now I might start to get a little crowded. So if that happens, sometimes I just bring it down a little bit. So here's 432. My ones place is changing. 433 and 444. So starting at 191 and adding on 243 more gets me to 444. Now I'm going to model for you down here another way to do the number line, but this one really relies a little bit more on number sense. So if this is difficult, always go back to this one where you're hopping every 100, every 10, and every 1. This one here I'm going to start at 342, and I'm going to count on 295. Instead of counting 200s, I'm just going to make one hop of hundreds and know that that's 200. And then I'm going to add 200 to that, so that's 542. So again, if that's too tricky, I can just go back and instead do 2 hops that way. Now I'm going to add 90 in one hop. So I'm going to do 90. And then I'm going to use what I know about number sense to think, well, that's almost hopping a whole 100, which would be 642, but it's just 90. It's 110 less, so it's going to be 632. All right, so there we hopped our 90, and now I'm going to hop 5. Do my ones all at the same time. So here I've hopped 5, so now it's 637. So here I have hopped all of my hundreds together, then all of my tens, then all of my ones. But you'll notice this took me a moment to kind of think about. I had to use what I know about number sense and my tens and hundreds and making new ones to really think about it. So sometimes if that's too tricky and I'm not being accurate, I'm going to go back to this one because I'm hopping every 100, every 10, and every 1. All right, so use this strategy for the number line when you're doing addition.